Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to make a video about rifles other than the AR-15. You wouldn't believe how many emails I get a day on average, but how many of those emails ask me to make a recommendation for something other than an AR-15. They want it to use a Stenag magazine, they want it to fire 5.56 or 223, but they're looking for something different. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys 4 rifles that I have in my collection that are currently available, and I'll explain why I've chosen each one of them when we get to them, that are alternatives to an AR-15. What you're going to find though, under most circumstances, if your budget is $1,000 or less, you're better off just going with an AR-15, because anything that's quality, that's well made, and it's not an AR-15, generally is going to be more expensive than $1,000. And that's true of the 4 firearms I've brought out here to show you this afternoon. But let's start off the video today shooting my Jeep gun. And then we'll pick the first of the 4 to show you guys. Tough to beat the AR. Very good shooting rifles. Let's see what else we have out here this afternoon. Let's start off with the Beretta AX100. This rifle, when it first came out, was, well, first of all, on the discussion forums, when Beretta announced it and showed some pictures, the internet was just awash of people saying, this is the next AR killer, this is going to be the best thing ever. And then by the time Beretta actually got it to market, it kind of flopped. Nobody really cared much for them, and there's a number of reasons why. However, what we've learned in shooting these for several years now, and in doing some things like ice tests, which we've posted here on the Military Arms channel, and other things, the guns are insanely reliable. That their biggest failing points are, first of all, it's ugly as sin. It has horrible ergonomics. If you try to take the 1913 rails off, you still have the sawtooth cheese grater up front. Originally they had a rail down here for a grenade launcher, which later they would mold just a standard pick rail down here, but it's just, especially for C-clampers, it's just an awkward gun to shoot. But it also has a polymer rail across the top, and if you put a really heavy optic on it, you can flex it fairly easily. Now, I'm running a Holosun on here right now, which is really lightweight, and it maintains 0. And then the other thing that people would complain about was the stock. It would not extend far enough to be comfortable for many American shooters like myself. You know, I'm 6'4", and even this is a little bit short for me. When I talked to Beretta about it, when I first started talking about these rifles, we went out to Beretta. They said that they had another stock in the works that would extend this one by about 1 inch, never materialized. Nothing ever came of the 308 version. They were talking about that kind of died. And the ergonomics never really changed. Now, the features that the gun has are that it's completely ambidextrous. You can switch the charging handle from one side to the other very simply without tools. You can quickly remove the barrel simply without tools, but that's really of limited value. So most people couldn't get over the awkwardness, ugliness, weird ergonomics, but I saw a diamond in the rough because this thing is crazy reliable. It shoots really good as well. Why are we talking about it here today? Well, this is a really good value. When these things came out, they came out at like $1,600, $1,700, and that killed them right off the bat. And then people got a hold of them, and you can't change the pistol grip. You know, it's not modular. People wanted to put up their own A2 grips on there or whatever. But at that price point, that destined the firearm to failure, and it just got mothballed. Now, this is a more recent production model in flat dark earth, which has the Picatinny rail on the bottom. But every once in a while, like Bud's Gun Shop, when we pass through there, we've seen them have them out for sale for $7.99. I just recently got an email blast from CDNN for the black ones, and they were selling them for right at $800 as well. That's $1,000 off what they came to market at. And the ones that we're seeing show up for sale right now are the older generation guns. So it's almost like they found them in a warehouse someplace. So if you're looking for something that's not an AR-15, you like it to be a military rifle, this is actually in service with the Italian military, the AX100 represents a pretty cool value right now. But like most people though, they just can't get past how ugly it is and get past those awkward ergonomics. I still love shooting the thing though. And my original black one has been run thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds with the silencer on it, never cleaned, and it still is chugging right along. So watch this, guys. This is kind of cool. I just put it on safe. It is loaded. Pop a round out. All I have to do is right here behind the stock, there's a little button. I can push it. Let's go ahead and load that round back into the magazine. And now it's going to eject out the other side of the gun. To move the charging handle over, you just pull it out and flip it over. I mean, it's just really, really cool how the gun works. You have the ability to drop the bolt by pushing a button. You can lock it to the rear by pushing up on it. That is present on both sides. You have a magazine release on both sides, and the charging handle, put it where you want it, either side of the gun. So it's fully ambidextrous, and that goes for the safeties as well. So let's take a look at the next gun I brought out this afternoon. One of the other rifles I brought out this afternoon is a more expensive rifle. This one's right around $1,700, so it is not inexpensive, but it is a modern military rifle. It is manufactured by IWI of Israel. They don't use it within their own military, but this is a rifle they manufacture for military sales outside of Israel, and there are a number of countries that have adopted this rifle. It's a later version of the original Galil that I grew up loving in the 1980s. It's just been modernized a little bit. So you'll have a polymer lower on it, a pistol grip that you can't swap out. You have ambi controls. You have a magazine release here, which is also on the other side. It uses standard Stenag style magazines. Right above that, only on the right-hand side of the receiver, we have a little button. If we push up on that button and pull the bolt to the rear, it'll lock the bolt open. Push down on it, it lets the bolt go home. Now, because it's using a Stenag magazine, it will lock open on the last round fired, so then all you have to do is replace the magazine, hit the button, it'll drop the bolt. We have an AK style safety here, but you'll notice there's no cut in the top cover. It's completely sealed up. So it's a little truncated safety, but just like the original Galil, it has a selector lever by the shooter's thumb on the left-hand side. The charging handle's been moved to the left-hand side of the gun. It still reciprocates, but it has this little dust cover that follows it and just keeps the system sealed up. So in essence, what you have is a sealed up AK rifle, sealed up from the elements, that is. So we have a pick rail all the way across the top. We have adjustable sights. You have elevation adjustable sight in front with tritium, and then we have a windage adjustable rear sight in the rear. All right, with all that being said, oh yeah, and I forgot to talk about the collapsing and folding stock. So the stock folds to the side. It's very similar to the original design, has the two little claws that are self-tightening, and then we have the adjustable length of pull. All right, let's load her up and do a little shooting with her. Locks open on the last shot fired. I will say though, this gun has pretty pronounced trigger slap, or finger slap from the trigger, I should say. So the trigger slapping my index finger when it fires, and it just numbs the end of my finger. I've always found that to be a little bit annoying with the Ace. It doesn't happen with the original Galil rifle that I have a couple in my collection. But overall, this is an extremely high quality gun and represents the upper end of the price tier. Let's take a look at the other rifle I brought out this afternoon. The next firearm on the list is actually a pistol, and that's because CZ USA hasn't brought in the rifle versions just yet. They're working on their 922R compliance parts, but I do believe they will land sometime in 2020. At least that's what I'm hoping. So in the interim, we have a pistol, in this case with the brace on it. The Bren MS, which this is one of the rifles I think I would be confident in saying is a scar killer. And that means that this gun is more feature rich than the Scar. It is every bit as ergonomic, reliable. This thing is through the roof in terms of reliability. It's just a great shooting gun, and it's $1,000 less than a Scar 16. So a Scar 16, if you price them out right now, assuming if you can find one, and it would fit within the parameters we've defined for this video, but we're not going to show you one in this video. It's, gosh, $2,700 if you can find one. They've just gotten ridiculously priced. This has many of the same features as the Scar. Obviously, when the Czechs went to design the gun, the first version that they released was the 805 Bren, and it was pretty much a direct copy of the Scar. At least that's what people accused them of developing. But this is a product evolved to 805. They call it the Bren 2, and it has a non-reciprocating charging handle. It is multi-caliber, so this one has its magazine well insert in there. It's also available as a 7.62x39, and one of the things that you would do to convert it would be to take this out, and it has, like I said, a non-reciprocating charging handle, and although the charging handle can be used as a forward assist, it has ambi selector, so you have fire controls on both sides of the firearm. You have a bolt stop right here, and on this side you'll notice there's a little, I don't know, let's call this a dingus too. There's a little dingus inside the trigger well. And if I push up on that and pull the bolt to the rear, I can lock it open. All right, to release it, I can hit the ping pong paddle like an AR, or I can just simply reach inside with my index finger and push that button, and that drops the bolt home. Then you have your magazine release here and here as well. So you have ambi magazine release. Pretty much the only thing that's not ambi is the side the gun ejects on. On the end of it here, we have an HB Industries rail. This is an M-LOK rail. This is an aftermarket accessory. If you have one of the first Bren 2s to come into the country that was a true military Bren in true military configuration, these rails won't fit. The Americanized guns that they brought in, or the later versions of the Bren 2, which are called the MS, will accept this HB Industries rail. You can get longer rails and stuff like that as well. And when the rifles come out, I'm sure they'll have them available for the rifles. On top, we have a primary arms. This is a GLX. And it is a 2-power ACSS reticle, illuminated scope, and has a nice, I just love the ACSS reticle. It's just such a great reticle. Smooth shooting, very, very smooth rifle. I mean, it has such a very nice recoil impulse. The ergonomics are spot on. You can't replace the pistol grip, but it does have a different back strap, although I've not seen the back straps available yet, but it's clearly replaceable. And yeah, this is a prime candidate for an SBR project. Jason SBR'd his 7.62x39 version of the Bren 2, and it's a really, really cool rifle. Moving up the price spectrum, we get to the Sig MCX Virtus. This rifle is just universally loved right now, and with good reason. The thing is absolutely amazing. I think part of its popularity also comes from the fact that it's known as the M13 in Call of Duty, and I actually run an M13 in Call of Duty. I play it on the PS4, and yeah, so this thing has really skyrocketed in popularity. I know Grantham, really likes them, and a number of other like T-Rex arms and stuff like that. Guys out there run these things, put them through their paces, and they just seem to be catching on like wildfire. I think what's holding this gun back is, first of all, they can't make them fast enough. They're really hard to find in stock anywhere. And secondly, the price, when you do find one, is really kind of high. It's kind of salty. You're looking at least $2,000 to pick up any version of it, a pistol, or in this case, a 16-inch barreled rifle version. Now you'll notice that it has a 12-inch handguard on it. Typically you'll see the 16-inch barreled gun coming with a longer handguard that comes all the way out to the muzzle end. I think this looks a little bit better. But the Virtus, really, this is one of Sig's home runs. It truly is. This rifle is something that has caught my attention, Jason's attention, and like I said, so many other people on the internet, including just regular owners. They're selling these things like crazy despite the price. You have ambi charging capabilities, and you have a forward assist here, which some people don't really care much about. You have a standard AR15 port cover, magazine release, which you don't have is a bolt release on the right-hand side. That's about the only ambi control it's missing, and you can't reverse the ejection side of the gun. Over here, there's our ambi selector lever, and here we have a magazine release and the bolt release, which looks like an AR-15 style bolt release, just slightly extended over here for easier access. Field stripping it is a breeze. You have this rail that goes across the top. I'd say it's monolithic with the exception that it actually breaks right here, but it locks up so tight it might as well be monolithic. And on top I have the Aimpoint Comp M5, which is a really great optic. This gun shoots so incredibly well, such a mild recoil impulse. You also have the ability to fold the stock on it to the side, and it also is adjustable for length of pull, so you can get it to whatever length of pull is most comfortable for you, like if you're wearing body armor or something like this. And I've noticed that the Virtus and the MCX have really taken off in law enforcement circles, especially over in Europe. You'll see more and more police and paramilitary units rocking these things, and I think that's with good reason. They really are something else. And as I say that, I don't think I got the magazine all the way inserted. Yeah, wow, what a great rifle. The pistols are really, really awesome, and again, great SBR candidates. So you can pick one of these up with maybe an 11-inch barrel on it, and with a brace, file a Form 1, and pick up the stock if you can find one, and turn it into an SBR. These things are pretty much SBR ready, kind of like the Bren 2s are. Keeping in mind what this video was about, we were looking for alternatives to the AR-15 that used the AR-15's magazine, a Stenag magazine, USGI magazine, and chambered .223 or 5.56. As we said in the opening of the video, it's very difficult to find a quality gun less than $1,000 to compete with the AR-15. You can find things like this AK, which has a polymer magwell, takes a Stenag magazine, chambers .223 and 5.56, but this has been nothing but trouble for Jason. This is his pistol. So really, if you're going to look at something other than the AR-15, prepare yourself to spend more money than $1,000. And in some cases, if you want the latest and greatest and cutting edge technology, be prepared to spend $1,700 to $2,000 or more dollars. Or you can go completely crazy and buy a SCAR for $2,800 or something ludicrous like that. So of the firearms I brought out here this afternoon, you're probably asking yourself, which is your favorite? If you could only have one, which would it be? Well, it would be the AR-X100. I'm just waiting for you guys to start flaming me in the comments down below. I'm just kidding. The gun that I love the most right now is the Sig Virtus. This rifle is nothing short of amazing. We've said that many times. And so that's how we're going to close out the video. Of all the guns here, if I had to give them all up, this would be the last one to go. Guys, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, the best way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter. We're supported by you, our viewers. Sig doesn't support us. There's a link down below. Give that link a click and consider becoming part of our Patreon family. Alternatively, right here on YouTube, underneath the video player, you're going to see a join button. Click that join button, check out some of the perks, and consider becoming part of our YouTube membership program family right here on YouTube. And last but not least, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Guys, thanks for 12 years of support, and we'll talk to you soon.